Oh, I don't think I'm getting out of the closet today.
Nesta's just gonna be like, "Where's Tasha?" And then just hear, "Help, help!" Oh,
All right, I'm ready.
that's funny. Okay, so this morning while I was working, I had some weird experiences. Well, not weird, but ridiculous.
Okay.
Um, so there was this set of four women that were in their 40s
Yeah.
that were completely drunk, and they were coming from a club that is normally like kids. You know, like I say kids, but that's because I'm old, but 18 to 24. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And one of the ladies was like, I mean, those kids were my kids' age. I was like, yeah, I know. And then we got them back to Fort Worth, which is where they were going. We passed this taco place. And as we're going past the taco place, she goes, I wonder if they're open. And I kid you not, she goes, oh, they're closed. She goes, man, if they were open, I would have given you a tip and probably a blowjob if you'd stop and get me tacos.
Oh boy.
And I was like, ma'am? First of all, she's already been talking about her husband the entire time. And I was like, I feel like maybe you shouldn't be married. um, yeah, so that was interesting.
It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, it's been a week, all in tonight. So you slept well?
Eh,
Eh?
I think. Eh, I think I'm gonna sleep for maybe 2 hours ish.
Oh,
Only because we got home late last night. Yesterday evening we went out with the kids, so we haven't taken them out in a while. We went to
yeah.
Madness comic book store.
Oh, way out in Plano?
Yeah, and then to a Vietnamese restaurant, and then to a movie. We watched. Guess what we watched?
The Flash. That awful, awful movie.
No, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3.
Oh, that's a good one. I liked that one.
It was a good one. Yep.
I
I
thought you were
cried
going to be
like
like, nah,
three.
I hated it.
No, I cried like 3 times.
Did you? Okay.
I don't want to spoil
Oh,
anything.
oh, okay. Well, I will.
Spoiler
No,
alert.
so with flashback of Rocket being thrown into the cage,
Yeah,
as a like after he's been experimented on,
yeah,
and like he has that little interaction, I was like, oh, this is gonna be sad. Like
yeah.
that was my first reaction. I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be sad. Okay. I was like, don't get attached, don't get attached, don't get attached, don't get attached.
And then it happened. I got attached.
Yeah.
I felt the same thing.
I think the other part that you might be talking about is when Star Lord, Chris Pratt, has that moment where he's yelling while he's in the med bay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that
that
got
part I
me.
was like, wow. Because, like I liked Chris Pratt when what is that show? Parks and Rec. Because I thought he was
Yeah,
really good. But I never assumed he could actually act because he was just the big dumb idiot in that.
yeah,
But he's proven me wrong, and I like that.
yep.
So,
I like a grittier Chris Pratt.
yeah,
Nice flexibility in his acting skills.
yeah,
Another part that got me was Mantis arguing with
Drax.
Gamora
Oh, and Gamora, yeah.
and in front of Drax, yeah.
And what she said,
Yes.
yeah. But it was okay because then she just went, forget. And
I
he was
know.
fine.
And that was sad too.
Yeah.
I was sad for them. I was sad for all of them.
Yeah. Um,
I thought
it
it
was
was
a really good movie.
yeah, it
Go ahead.
was. It was. You remember that? Okay, another spoiler alert. You remember that one? There was one scene that was hilarious to me. That wasn't very, like, it wasn't very big or long. It was just like a moment. But it was when, oh, what's her face? Nebula, Mantis, and Drax were all trying to break in to a bigger ship,
Oh,
and
okay. I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
they were trying to save, uh, a couple of the
Star-Lord.
characters. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they just behind them, you can hear and see them fall, like just for a brief second.
Yeah, you see them fall past, and
Yeah,
they don't even notice.
yeah. And she just got done saying, "We've got to save them. They're in
Yeah, yeah. I love that part too.
the ship." Oh.
So,
No, I can't
okay.
ruin this. I cannot ruin
Uh,
this. Never mind.
yeah, I feel like we could have a whole conversation about just this.
Yeah.
Um, so
Off,
let's,
off the podcast. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, I want to shift gears for a little bit, sort of. So back during the pandemic,
Hmm.
did you ever watch the movie The Princess Bride?
Yes.
You don't sound like you're 100% sure.
No, I definitely have many times.
Okay, okay. So apparently, back during the pandemic, when nobody was able to do anything, a bunch of actors filmed themselves at their homes and various like locations, acting out scenes from The Princess Bride.
I think I've seen those,
There,
or at least heard
somebody
of them.
clipped it all together,
Ooh.
um, and made it an hour long, hour and 7 minute long movie, and it's
Oh
just
wow.
so many different stars, and several different people playing the same character in different scenes, and it's fun to watch. I just watched it after I got off work.
Where'd you watch it on?
YouTube.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, I just searched Princess Bride home remake.
Okay. Yeah,
It was really nice.
I'll probably give that a listen.
Yeah. All right. So, are we ready to get into it?
Yeah.
All right. Hit them with the intro, Tasha.
Welcome to What M Dreams. I am one of your hosts, Tasha, and I'm here with.
Dust.
Well, you like buzzed out.
Oh, Dustin. How was that? Was that better?
That was much better. And we're here to talk to
Okay.
you about dreams. Dreams, dreams, dreams.
Hang on. I think I can do better. Dustin. That was almost Sega. Hang on. Wait a minute. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, it does sound like Sega. Man, throwback.
Yeah. I've been watching too much court case, Microsoft and the FTC.
Yeah.
So, video games are on my mind right now. So, anyway, you had dreams this week?
Oh, did I? I did.
Did you not?
I did, but I don't recall many of them. No.
Oh, okay.
They have flown out of
Well,
my brain.
I've been having, so I do have some that I've written down and some very long ones. But I've been having this thing where it's like I know that I had dreams, and then as soon as I wake up, I'm like, what was it? Because like I wake up feeling like, oh man, that was such a good dream. But then I can't remember a single thing that happened.
Yeah. That's happened a lot before.
It's the vaccine.
Is it?
I don't know.
That sounds like the start of a sci-fi. Getting rid of our
Always.
dreams.
Yeah. Okay. So I had a few dreams this week. that I actually was able to write down.
Okay.
This is what I wrote down for the first one. It's kind of a long one.
Okay.
So I have 3 older brothers and an older sister. And the one brother that's just above me, I had a dream that I beat the absolute living shit out of him.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I was having this dream in particular, but this is what I wrote. I said we were going to school at some elementary school, and I was outside playing, and I had to go to the bathroom. Well, in the bathroom, I see a few other kids and my brother hanging out. I wrote the word hoodlum, and I thought to myself, Jesus, Dustin, just speak right. I looked over and saw a wallet on the urinal and thought, that looks like my wallet. And I patted my pocket, and sure enough, mine was gone. And so I picked it up and saw my ID, and then flipped through it and found my cards and things like that. Saw that my debit card was gone. So I turned to him and I said something about it, and he denied it. And then I proved that it was mine, and he was the only one that could have taken it. And he made some like smart ass comment when he gave me the card back.
Yeah.
And I apparently just lost it and
Uh-oh.
just started punching him in the face over and over and over again. There was a lot of, and I went home to tell my mom and dad about it, but they didn't seem to be home. And I started looking for a pencil to write in, and I couldn't find one. And I started thinking, no pencils anywhere in this house. And then my mom came home, and I started to tell her what happened, and she said, "Did you tell your dad?" And I was like, "No, because he's not home." And she told me that he was, and we went to his room where he was sleeping, and then I woke up.
Oh man.
Yeah, see, long dream, and yeah, I don't know why I was so angry at my brother. Like, I mean, I don't know if it was just dream or if it was like, yeah, you're pretty mad at your brother about something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so I was gonna ask an obvious question. Are you mad at your brother?
I mean, honestly, I haven't talked to him in a couple of months,
Okay.
so I don't have anything to be mad at him about.
Anger can fester.
Yeah, it can, I suppose, but I mean, it's we don't talk much as it is, and so it's like it's not one of those things where I'm holding on to any resentment or anything like that from childhood,
Right.
because I'm just like, it's fine, it's over. And besides that, my sister and I got into way more fun than I did with any of my brothers.
It's strange. When you were telling your dream and you said you couldn't find a pencil, I was wondering if that was gonna set dream you off again.
It might have, but then apparently my mom came home, so I was like, all right, well, I can't just like go beating everyone up.
Gotta stop somewhere.
Yeah. So I did have a shorter dream. Let's see. I had a dream where I was on this boat in the middle of the ocean, but I was on the inside, so I couldn't see the water really.
Yeah.
There was this area that I was showing off. It kind of opened up like an RV does, you know, how you like push out the side of the RV, and then there's also like an awning that'll flip up.
Yeah.
It was like that on the boat, and so I was showing it off to some people. I pulled the awning out, but it was dark out. I opened the huge window, and it was dark outside, so you couldn't really see anything anyway. And for some reason, I kept saying "Murica, Murica," and I don't know why.
You kept saying it?
Yeah, you know how like when you see something that's so like America, Murica, I kept saying that like I was talking about the the thing on the boat, of this boat. And I was like, yeah, only in America. I don't know why I kept saying it.
That is some American shit. It's if anybody invented that shit, it'd be America. America.
Yeah. So then I went like to the door that goes to the exterior deck. I was talking about sea bugs, which I don't even know if that's a thing. I just, in my dream, it absolutely was.
Surely.
And yeah, and I said, that's why I don't go out there. And then I opened the door, and right outside the door was this like crazy huge caterpillar, like millipede type thing.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and I was like, absolutely not. I said, see? And then I closed the door, and then that's when I woke up.
Did you just nope out of a sea bug encounter?
Yeah, in my dream,
How
the
big
time
was
when you're
it?
supposed to be adventurous, it was fucking massive.
Oh god.
Like the size of a dog.
Oh no.
Like a small dog, but still a dog. Like
I
bigger than your
probably
chihuahuas, because those are small.
yeah, no thank you.
But yeah, I saw the thing. I was like, nah, absolutely not.
And who are these people you're impressing with your
I
ship
don't
that
know.
with pop outs?
So I know I was talking to people, but I don't actually remember there being anybody else in the room.
Hmm. That's funny. You remind me of that on the Goofy movie. What's that other kid's name with the dad who's like always one-upping Goofy?
Oh, I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you're like that dad. Like,
Yeah. It's funny because I was thinking about that. I was on Instagram the other day and I was watching some reels. There was this guy that he was like, I'm just in the Florida Everglades. And he was like, I'm going to see if I can step away, step around this swamp puppy here and make sure he doesn't fucking crocodile or
oh no.
alligator. Sorry. It's in the middle of the night, right?
Oh, I think I've seen that clip.
And then, like, he finds a snake and he was like, yoink, and he picks it up. And then, like, he finds a frog and he picks it up. He goes, yoink. And, like, he's doing this over and over again. And I just commented, I was like, absolutely not. Go home. Because I was like, who does that?
Survivalists.
God, I don't know, man. Like, what the fuck?
Nature enthusiasts, maybe.
Mm-mm.
Steve
Hell no.
Steve Irwin.
Yeah, but I mean, Steve Irwin was Steve Irwin,
Yeah.
and it got him killed still. So
Yeah, I guess so. Not for yoinking though. What did he do with them? He just toss them?
I guess, yeah, I think he said he was moving Frog over to the other side of the road so that like he wouldn't get run over or anything.
Okay.
But I was like, bruh, you're still fucking snakes and shit.
That reminds me of I was on the radio the other morning.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. It was, not I.
Oh, I thought you said I was on the radio, and I was like, la ti da, someone thinks she's fancy.
No, 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 no. I was listening to the radio. And they were telling a story of a turtle that hadn't been found. It was like in good news. It was a good news bit.
Yeah.
And they said, good news, a tortoise has been found. It has been missing. I forget how long it was missing. I feel like at least a year or two.
Oh, wow.
A
A
tortoise
long
has been
time.
found, and the person who had picked up the story, they're like, guess how far away from its house it was? And nobody guessed. It was 5 miles from the home.
It was only 5 miles?
Yeah. 5 miles.
Jesus.
And they all started laughing, and they're all like, I don't think they looked that hard for him. Like, when did they notice he was gone? I feel like 2 hours into him being missing, they would just find him on the porch, making his
Yeah.
grand escape. took took a whole 2 years for him to get 5 miles. All right, he's really
He's 5 miles down the road. Reminds me of that meme. I don't know if I sent it to you. I know I sent it to a couple of friends of mine because they're from North Dakota. And it was like, North Dakota is so flat, you can watch your dog run away for 3 weeks.
I remember that name.
I was like, damn, that's pretty flat.
That is quite flat.
So I texted you about the other dream that I had.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, but it was kind of a like D&D type setting almost.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, I remember you texting me about it. Okay, tell me about it.
so it was a dream that I wasn't in. I was watching this play out.
Okay.
Gorgeous looking kingdom, right? It sat in, I want to call it a valley, but it was kind of like surrounded on all sides by mountains, you know. But it was giant, like I mean, and so I want to say beautiful, but like and to describe it, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so there's this king that's in charge of this kingdom. He had this advisor that was his best friend and supposedly the greatest warrior in the kingdom. And he had that might have been his wife. It wasn't clear in the dream, but she was also a healer, right? As she could like heal people through magic and stuff, and she also just understood how the body worked, essentially, you know, so that she could heal people. And he was told by some man that like was giving him a prophecy thing, you know, that he would have a choice to make and that he would enjoy making it. That's what it says. That's what he said, and that whatever choice he made, whether the right one or not, he would still be devastated.
Yeah.
And I know that they had names because they called each other by their names in the dream, but I can't for the life of me remember what they were. But they were interesting names, right? They weren't like John, Jane, you know, nothing like that. It was like something crazy, like what we would hear in like D&D all the
Yeah.
time. So they were all wearing like fantastic looking garments and things like that, and the armor was super ornate, you know. And they had set out on this trek to go to this fight that they were supposed to be having with several troops and everything.
Mhm.
And while they were fighting, the advisor gets stabbed with a blade, and the healer was poisoned. They were both dying. The battle's over, and in the final bit, they're both like dying. They're almost dead, and the king has all of his troops and servants and stuff pick them up and carry them on that thing that like you would see Cleopatra in, like
Yeah.
like servants carrying her. It's like that, right?
Okay.
So they were in separate ones, but they were being carried back to wherever the kingdom was. And the king was riding next to the healer, and she was asking about the advisor, and he said, "You're both in bad shape." She laid her head back down, and they continued to ride. But he rode ahead to like the advisor next to check on him.
Yeah.
He was like writhing in pain the entire time. Well, it turns out the healer's powers had been locked by whatever this poison was, so she couldn't actually heal anyone. It turns out like the king couldn't do anything either for them until he got them back to the kingdom. And when they arrived, he gave orders to get them to someone that could heal them immediately. So, like whatever their medical facilities were back then. So they began to like descend this huge, beautiful staircase made of like a white stone with the metal fencing on the outside edges of it.
Yeah.
And the healer began to say something about what the advisor needed. And as they tried to remove the blade that had stabbed the advisor, his pain started to intensify. And so he was writhing more and more. And so they left it alone and they tried to fix the healer, but it was making him worse to try and fix her. And then they figured out that they had linked their wounds, like the whoever the people they were fighting, you know,
Mm-hmm.
had made it so that their wounds were like intertwined. So if you fixed one, the other one would die, no matter what. And so the king realized at that point that that's what the prophecy was talking about. He was going to have to choose between either the healer lady
Mm-hmm.
or his advisor.
Oh,
Um,
that's
yeah.
sad.
So he kind of started like chuckling to himself and like shaking his head sarcastically. Someone said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "It's a choice." Sarcastically to himself, he said, "I always do enjoy this." Bringing back the callback to when he said he would enjoy making the choice, but it was
Weird.
sarcastically. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then it said he chose to save the healer.
Interesting.
He said he knew that sometimes, no matter whatever choice you make, you still lose.
Yep.
That dream was such like a whole like self-contained story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I never finish a dream like that.
If I were the king, I also would have chosen the healer. He made a good
Why
choice.
is that?
Reminds me of one of those riddles, like what would you do? Just say, well, because the healer can save, lives
Okay. Right.
with, how do I say? My brain's frying out.
It's I don't know. It's not an easy question in my mind, but I mean,
The
I
healer,
obviously would have chosen the healer too, or else my dream wouldn't have gone that way.
ooh, that's something to think about.
Yeah. I was like, would I though?
Sometimes when my brain chooses things that I wouldn't necessarily agree with, in my dreams
Yeah.
anyway. Well, yeah, the healer can save lives by, healing, since it's like a positive giving sort of
Yeah.
way. Whereas what was he, like a war chief, he said? Like an advisor of
Yeah.
the soldiers?
He was supposed to be the greatest warrior in the kingdom, and he was the most trusted advisor. So he was like the one that knew like the strategies and everything to make sure that they were always in the right place.
I guess they both could save lives in a way, but I just feel like the healer can save lives by, healing, giving, whereas the warrior could save lives by taking away
Yeah.
others. That's how I kind of rationalize it in my brain. But I guess it's a little more complex than that because, you know, like I said,
It's interesting that you even like thought about it that way, like positive and negative type situation where it's like, oh, she's giving and you know, because I hadn't even thought
yeah,
about it, but that's an interesting way to look at it. Weirdly, I guess my brain thought that as well, but
yeah.
I didn't.
My brain did, but I didn't.
Um, some part of my brain was like, yes, this is what I'm trying to tell you. And then the other part of my brain was like, cool, look at their armor.
Look at this beautiful staircase.
Yeah. Um, whoa, that guy got stabbed. the, other part, the other part of my brain's like, you are an idiot.
Man, brains are weird.
Yeah.
I thought the staircase detail was an interesting detail to remember.
It stood out. Like when I woke up, it was one of the things that really like stood out. It was so cinematic the way that like, all the detail is still there in my head.
And that's pretty cool.
Yeah. See, and that's why, I was talking about like I would love to have a visual representation in the real world of what I was seeing in my dream.
Mm-hmm.
Because like no matter how I explain it, it's not going to be the same for everyone, you know? So, I mean,
Yeah, I feel
books,
like you'd be a famous director.
yeah, books have already proven that just because you describe something doesn't mean everyone sees the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've read something and then watched a movie and been like, that doesn't look like anything I pictured. You know,
Yeah.
that dream with the Murica thing happened the
America.
same morning when I had gone to sleep. I woke up, went to go pee, went back to sleep, and then had the Murica dream. And I was like, wow, that's an interesting choice to go to. And you know what? Now that I think about it, it makes me think like I had that really like awesome, poignant dream, and the other part of my brain was going, "This is awesome! Like, look at their armor and look at the staircase." And then when I went back to sleep, my other brain was just like, "All right, fine, say Murica." So I had a conversation the other morning with someone, and I said, "What do you think our standing is in the universe?" And I know that's a heavy question to hit someone with early in the morning. Just in general in life, like, do you think we have meaning, or if we do have meaning, what is our meaning? She was like, I don't know. I don't really think about that. I was like, okay, just fuck down. I said,
Or
I
maybe,
was like,
maybe it's just too overwhelming to think about. Okay.
well, no, because then we got into a whole discussion about like she doesn't believe in like religion and everything. She thinks more about like the science of everything. And I was like, I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. Science versus, belief in like, I don't know, a God and heaven and stuff like that. I don't think they have to be separate.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, to me they do. And I was like, well, fuck me then, I guess. I was like, I just really like to talk about philosophy. And she was like, yeah, she was like, I like to know the scientifically, not like spiritually. And I was like, all right then, I guess. And she was like, sorry. I was like, no, no, I mean, we just have a difference of opinion. It's fine. I was just like, all right. So you heard there was this new physics thing that happened this week. They discovered that by studying pulsars, they can detect the gravitational waves. They can almost pinpoint the exact time of the Big Bang.
Oh, no, I haven't
Yeah,
heard that.
yeah, and it's also supposed to like help prove some of the stuff in the standard model of physics that we have, because like as for now, we've been working on some assumptions that like we had missing pieces of the standard model, and this is gonna help to fill in those gaps. I was talking to my friend Eddie the other day, and we were talking about it, and I was like, I get super stupid giddy about like physics stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, it's pretty interesting. And I was like, you don't understand. My whole body's tingling. He was like, all right, let's stop talking.
Whenever I hear about like any advancements in quantum physics,
Yeah.
it's it's pretty exciting.
Isn't that weird? Like, because I never considered myself someone who would get into that kind of stuff. I never really even considered myself a nerd, honestly. But over the last 10 years, God, I'm like the king of the nerds.
Yeah, that's you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I was about to say the king of the nerds, but you would not understand that reference. Because
I
you do
don't think
not
I
like
would.
no, you do not like Game of Thrones.
Nope.
Suck.
Cannot get behind that. Oh, I remember what I was going to say.
Well,
Nothing. It's actually for Ernesto. Because I thought of a joke.
Another dad joke?
No, it's kind of a dirty joke. I thought of it while I was on my way to pick someone up tonight, and I was laughing at myself.
Sounds about right.
I mean, to the point where I was like, all right, get together before you pick this person up because they're going to think you're crazy.
And did you?
Yeah, I did. Uh,
Did you tell the
oh,
person the joke?
no, because it's too much.
All right.
But I might throw it out at game night, so you'll you'll hear it at game night, and then you'll be like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Speaking of jokes that are a little too much, I was watching a TikTok the other day, and
Okay.
this lady wrote down 3 words and handed them to her grandmother. And her grandmother had to be in her 70s or 80s, right? She wrote down the word Kenny and the word body. And then she said, "Here, I want you to read this out loud." And her grandmother starts reading it to herself and she goes, "No, no, no, out loud." And so she starts saying it, and it's Alpha Kenny body. So when you say it fast enough, it
Oh,
sounds like
yeah.
I'll fuck anybody. And so this grandmother is sitting here repeating this these words over and over again, and her whole family is just cracking the fuck up. And they're like, "Oh, would you though? Would you?" She's like, "Would I what? I don't know what's happening." she, she's like, "Alpha Kenny body." And she's like, "Alpha Kenny body." And it's like she couldn't get it. She couldn't hear it.
Oh man. Some of these grandmas on TikToks. Wildin'.
You ought to write down those 3 words and make us to say them out loud. See what happens.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You won't do that.
Uh-uh.
You're too lame.
You do it in game night.
Okay. All right. Now, you know what's going to happen? Nesto's going to look at him. I'm not going to read that shit.
Exactly. I was like, I don't see this going to plan.
I could probably get Ivan to do it, though.
Yeah,
Oh, I guess Emily will probably be back for the next one, huh?
I think so.
Oh, I forgot we're doing the podcast. Oh.
Oh. We're just having a regular 5 a.m. talk.
Yeah.
This is completely normal.
Anyway, do you have any other dreams or anything that you'd like to talk about?
Well, I really haven't talked about any dreams today. I cannot.
I know it's been all me. I've been carrying this fucking shit.
Yeah, you have today.
My back is tired.
Shut up. I've been giving good commentary.
You have. It's been a nice dialogue.
A nice
5 a.m. call.
chat, yeah. Hilarious.
Recommendations. Should we do recommendations?
Yes. I haven't read it in years. I think I read it in high school. Oh my gosh.
What?
It's just giving me so much nostalgia. Okay. Because I read it so many years ago, and it's a whole like long ass series. I don't even know how many books there are in the series. I don't think I ever finished it. Okay, I'm ready.
Go ahead then.
All right, I would like to recommend. Wait. How do I usually say this? We make book recommendations because uh, it's been so long.
We literally did this last week during game night.
Nope, don't recall.
Yes.
I spent 7 days. Okay, so one of our running theories is that the more avid a reader you are, the more vivid your dreams may be. So we make book recommendations. There. Ha! I said that nicely.
Ha!
Boom. Okay, so my book
Mic
recommendation.
drop.
Mine is the start of a series. It's a long series. I don't even know how long it is. I started it many, many eons ago. It's called A Spell for Chameleon, and it's by Piers Anthony. And it's about a young man who is coming of age. Okay, and it's in like it's a fantasy book. So he's set in a fantasy realm, and he's coming of age, and he lives in the magical world of Xanth, where when you come of age, you have to be able to show your magical potential, or you'll be exiled to a place called Mundania, which happens to be our world.
Oh,
Like, like kind of like Harry Potter-ish. There's a magical world, and then there's the Muggle world.
yes.
You follow along his journey. The main character's name is Bink, and you follow his journey trying to find his magical powers. And it's so funny. If you enjoy puns and fantasy, Piers Anthony, the Xanth series is the way to go. The first book is A Spell for Chameleon, so check it out.
All right. I'm going to go a different way. I'm going to go with a movie. I'm going to recommend something that I did talk about on the podcast, but I know I didn't recommend to the audience. I recommended it to the other Emily, Emily too. And it's a movie called Brick
Okay.
with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. The entire movie is a noir gumshoe flick, but it's a high school student who is trying to solve the murder of another student. And the entire dialogue in the movie is done in that 1940s vernacular. So it does sometimes get a little hard to understand
So they say things like
unless you
thoroughfare.
probably.
Thoroughfare.
It's been a while since I've seen it, so I can't tell you that they say thoroughfare. If you like a good mystery and a good like detective flick, then check it out. Joseph
Nice.
Gordon-Levitt's the main actor in it.
He does some films.
He does. He's been an interesting person to watch. I don't know if you ever watched Third Rock from the Sun, which was one of the first things I ever saw him in.
Yeah, I watched a couple of episodes. I remember him. The first thing I saw him in was Angels in the Outfield.
Oh yeah, that was a good one too. Christopher Lloyd was in that as one of the
Yep.
angels.
Yep.
All right, well, recommendations are out of the way. So that's going to be it for our episode today, I believe, unless you've got anything else that you need to talk about.
Nope, that's it. It was a Dustin episode.
Well, they're all Dustin episodes. I mean, let's face it, I'm the only reason anybody's here.
Okay, goodbye.
I'm kidding. Of course I am.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, I guess hit him with the outro. Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you, Little Dreamers, for listening. Little Dreamers is our Patreon $5 subscription tier. Where can they listen to us, Dustin?
You can listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, Stitcher, Sirius, Pandora, and now on YouTube.
Yes, and you can find us on the socials thanks to Dustin on the TikToks, the Instagrams, and the Twitters.
Yeah, you know, the chat book and the face snap, you know, those things.
True. Right.
We also have an email address at whatamdreams@gmail.com where you can send us your dreams, and we will rate them accordingly and probably make fun of you a little bit.
Just a teensy bit. And again, thank you for listening from the bottom of our hearts, and bye!
Bye. Forever.
Yeah.
I think it's like that.
Yeah.
It's going to be random notes every time.
I feel like it is, yeah.
They're always going to be descending, and it's only going to be 3 of them, but I'm not sure
And mine
at
will
what
be
intervals they
ascending.
are. Yes.
That's a good frame.
Yeah.
Look at us, producers.